So I found almost an entire block in Manhattan that immigrated from the same town in Sicily. Now, I mentioned this in the last video, so if you haven't seen that, go back on the channel and definitely check that out because it sets this one up. So I mentioned it because as I was researching that, I did find this. This is 1920. This is Manhattan, and it had a lot of the same names from the previous video, which was St. Louis. So if you see here, there, I mean, this is Avenue A in Manhattan, practically the whole block. This part of the neighborhood, names like Misuraca, Vitale, Badalamenti, Palazzolo, Vitale, Galati, Finazzo. Hey, Finazzo, I did not plan that. Menino. So with those names, it's got to be Carini, Terrasini, or Cinisi, or a combination. Now, the last one was a combination of three, well, really going back far for Carini. And I just want to point out a little tip, something that I don't like Facebook, but it definitely comes in handy when you're doing research, because what I did here as I posted this, so what I did was I posted on my my group page here, and this is something that, and I also have Epic Genealogy I use for the same purpose. I started this where I mentioned I'm working on another video, and I found it, and I got to find out, and I didn't have any of them on my tree when I started, but I was damn determined. If they're from Terrasini or Cinisi, I'm gonna find a connection. That's why the video, I was supposed to have this last week, but this was a tremendous amount of work to do. I put more work into this video than researching than any other video previous. But if you've got all these people and they're not already on your tree, you got to keep track, because when you're already on Ancestry, or you're connected on Family Search, or you're on Heritage, MyHeritage, or one of those, you could just start plugging in and then you can keep track of the research. But when you don't have that, you got to keep track of the research. And that's actually, so you can see here, this is where I started, 17 replies. I started posting all the documents with the link back. So once I did find the connection, then I was able to add everything to Ancestry. So the big question is, where are all these people from? Because if you look here, they are Italian or Sicilian immigrants. They're Sicilian immigrants, okay? But it says that they are from Italy. So where are they from?
Well, we're waiting.
Every single one. Everyone is from Cinisi, and they're all related. I know, big shock there. They're all related. I'll get to whether they're related to me later. But every single one, not a single one here is from Terrasini or from Carini. It is Cinisi. So Cinisi, of course, they're all in the same area on the western part of Palermo. They're on the near the coast. So let's go one by one, and I'm not going to go through everything. What I do want to point out is that when I started this, I had about 3,511 people on my tree. I have got almost 1,000 more. So there was a lot, again, like I said, a lot of work went into this to make the initial connections. I had to my tree, I had to go back almost 300 years. So there was a lot to put in there. And I'm kind of obsessed with trying to find a family connection to me. So that's why I was going back so far and trying to find each line, and I'll get to whether I did or not. So first one's going to be Vincent Misuraca and his wife Margarita. Okay, so here they are. Did not have enough information for Margaret to be able to trace her family back. Maybe when I have more time, I'll be able to do that. When we got a Menino and a Randazzo, I'm a Randazzo, many Menino familia connections. Again, I couldn't take 6 months to do this video. I traced it back. Mangiopane. I mean, I just made some incredible sourdough, so I'll have to put a picture here. It's like they ran out of names in Mangiopane. For those who don't speak Italiano, it means eat bread. So, yeah. But you see some of the names here. Palazzolo, Amato, Basile. I figured I would definitely find a Carini connection and a connection to Mia Familia. Di Lorenzo. Well, that's a pretty popular name. I don't think on this particular line I found a Carini connection. We'll check. I think as far back as we go here, you can see it goes back pretty far. Giacomo Amato, Cinisi, Leone, extremely popular name. No. You figure you got a Catoni in there, and there's a few Catonis on the other lines. I'm trying to see. Okay, so it doesn't look like on this particular line, but I was able to get pretty far back, and I do suggest that not putting it on there unless you have the documents. And I do have the documents. That's how I know who the parents are, because I found the wedding records. And so what I was able to do is I was able to link in all the original records from Family Search. So here you're able to go to Family Search. So if you're on my tree as a guest, you can go and you can see I have linked back Misuraca, Vincenzo Misuraca. I have linked back to the original documents. That is very important. So when I mentioned that I added all those people to my tree, I do have the documentation to prove that. So you definitely won't have the documents for that. That's Misuraca. Yeah, it was really disappointing not be able to follow the Basili line. I kind of lost the track there. So they may not have been married in Cinisi, which would be good. They may have been married in Terrasini. Again, I didn't have the time to go through that. Let's go down our list. We have Antonio, Vitale, and his wife, and it's this is what got me. I wasn't able to find much on them, but I did get Michael, and surprisingly, I got a picture, which was really cool. So I was able to then, and then there's Antonino and Antonina. I was able to get both lines. In fact, they are actually related to the Finazzo, the Vincenzo Finazzo, who lived to be 100. I think I have that still. Yes, they were. She is actually related, and it's this line. So his sister actually went to Manhattan. So this Vincenzo Finazzo, his sister is here. They actually are related, which I did not expect. So again, I said they were related, but I didn't realize that the ones from the previous video in St. Louis, they had family, direct family, also go to Manhattan. This is cool. You got to figure Vitale, and I got Menino, maybe a Giordano, and then I got a Randazzo. So I'm going to let's take a moment here. So that's the thing. There was so much involved with this particular video that I can't remember exactly which line went back to Carini, but at least one did. And you can see that's 17. Oh, wait, that's going back pretty far. If I haven't connected it, then I probably, there we go. Gasper, Randazzo. I figure it was the Randazzo, like me, Mia Famiglia's Randazzo. So this one did go back to Carini. I'm not saying that they're necessarily related to me. Let's see where, yeah, and Gianola. We'll see where you get first cousin, second times removed, the wife, a fourth cousin.
I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
What's that make us?
Absolutely nothing.
So through my Pecoraro line, there's a joke in there somewhere. So that's the Vitale line. I do have some of them going back pretty far to the 1600s. So next in this neighborhood, we've got Antonino Badalamenti. The Badalamenti is a very, very common name in this part of the Palermo province. In fact, I did a video on Angelo Badalamenti, may he rest in peace. It's on the channel. So if you missed that, definitely check that out. He has a connection to Anthrax. Life actually turned out to be a Menino, which was, if you see here, yes, Mary. And again, put your attention to their children. This is something that is really, really helpful because at least 100 years ago, people were still in Europe using European naming tradition where you would name for your noni. So when you see the names Samuel and Fanny, or Samuel is Salvador, you know that the firstborn male is probably going to be named after the paternal grandfather, the nono. That's really helpful when you're doing research, especially here, because I didn't know if they were going to be related or not, and they didn't start off on my tree. So we do have here, his wife was a Menino, which that gets, you figure, it's got to be a connection. Got to be. I was not actually able to get very far back on the Badalamenti line. As you could see, I think I got back to 1750, and but it was a lot further back on the Menino line and the Ruffino, which is not a surprise, more common names. So I actually get this Menino line back to about 1703. Let's see. I was really hopeful that this one was going to connect with Carini, and it did not. And let's see. Palazzolo and Abate. I mean, come on. That's got, but it did not. So, and I took it back 1690, and I still couldn't connect it to Carini. Oh, no, I did. Okay. Again, there's just 1,000 names. Pietro Abate, Giulia Manzella. And a Manzella, I'll mention this again at the end of the video. Manzella, that led me to the next video. Some nefarious, not so nice people. I'm not saying the Manzella family is not so nice, but one of the members of the Manzella family is going to be in the next video. I actually didn't have Manzella on the family tree until I got to, I think, here. And so when I was doing some research and a particular name, the Manzella, so definitely check out the next video, but I'll mention that again before the video is over. So I did get back pretty far, did connect it with Carini. Again, it's very distant. I would not say that I'm really not related to, niece of wife of second cousin. Okay. So let's go down to the next one, Matteo Palazzolo. Now, Palazzolo, one of the most common names in Terrasini. It's kind of common for Cinisi, but not like Terrasini. So here we've got Matteo and Maria Abate. Yeah, his wife's last name is Abate. You can see it's Matteo and Mary, and then there's Catherine. So there's going to be a Nona who is a Caterina, and there we have Caterina Lupo. Again, Lupo, really common in Terrasini, and so look up the double murder video I did regarding Terrasini and the Lupo family. An interesting, Caterina Palazzolo, their daughter, named, of course, for her Nona, married a Joseph or Giuseppe Abate. I was also able to get this line back pretty far. I thought it was going to do pretty good because I got an Abate and a Mazzola. I said, come on, this has got to be Carini. They've got to be related to me. And another Pietro Abate. Took it back pretty... Zorillo, I mean, come on. Different Pietro Abate and Luigi Mazzola still did not go back to Carini. 1722, so at Bommarito, another big name for Terrasini. So this one, what I have so far, I didn't get everything, but what I have is just Cinisi. So let's go on to another family there. I have the Vitales. I already showed them. Tommaso Galati. Now, Galati, I have a 2 times great grandmother, Angela Galati, so that always gets my attention. So let's go to Galati on here. Tommaso Galati. Can you get a more Sicilian sounding name than Galati? Tommaso Galati, his wife is Domenica. They went by Mamie, sometimes by Fanazzo. Brigida Abate. So you'd think, you think this was going to connect. I was not able to get that far back on the Galati line. Unfortunately, maybe some additional work will turn up a connection there. But you would think an Abate and a Cracchiolo, that would be a Carini connection. But I was not able to get beyond that, even though Casimiro, not a very common name at all. And here I was really hopeful. And here's the connection with the other Fanazzo, this Vincenzo Fanazzo. This is from the previous video. Not only a sister, but an uncle moved. The uncle's family moved to Manhattan, and that is so Domenica Fanazzo, her noni are directly related to, of course, Vincenzo Fanazzo. They are, I think, second cousins. Of course, she went to Manhattan. So I was really hopeful that this particular, that was really cool to find out there. I was really hopeful that this would have turned out more of a connection with Carini, and it did not. And I did go back pretty far. 1721. This approximation based on the marriage the marriage dates. Come on, Filippo Menino and Nunzia Vitale, but it is still Cinisi. Did I get further back? I did, but it's still Cinisi. So pretty good there. I showed the Finazzo already. Tony Galati is, of course, he's related to Tommaso Galati. And now we'll get to the last one, Giuseppe Menino. This I was really hopeful for, too. So Giuseppe and Rosaria. You can see Giuseppe and Rose or Rosaria, and it has the name Salvador, Fred, Federico, wow, Frank, and then there's a Lawrence or Lorenzo. Fred, of course, for the Pharaoh, and Salvador. So it's no surprise there that we have the children named for their noni. So you figure Randazzo, it's got to be a connection, right? I did not get this line back very far, the Menino line. Let's see, what did I do with the Randazzo? They like the name Pharaoh and Farah in Terrasini and Cinisi. They like those names a lot. Yeah, I was not able to get too far back on these particular lines, and they did not connect, but they were from Cinisi. So a lot of work. And if you'd like to help support the channel so I can do more videos like this where there is a lot more work involved, then you can look in the description. Do that. I do have shirts available now. So that's how I was able to go through and connect and show how this whole block is from Cinisi, are distantly related, some more than others, and they're all on my tree. So it's going to make it easier now to connect. I've added a few thousand people, additional people from Cinisi. So this is going to make it easier when I find other people on census records like this that are from Cinisi, because I have so many connections now from Cinisi and Terrasini. So it'll be easier to get them on my tree. So for the next video, what I'm going to do is give you a little a preview here. Some not so nice people here from Cinisi. One was, and he was actually banished, according to Wikipedia, was banished from the United States. Not a very good person. And so there's mafia connections. So this is actually supposed to be a group of some pretty infamous mafioso.
Like the mafia?
Yeah, like the mafia.
So one of them in the picture is definitely on my tree and is the subject of my next video.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.